From coast to coast, back of house staff turn to the green jar, O'Keeffe's working hands. It's the secret weapon that saves dry hands after constant hand washing. Trusted by pros, America's #1 hand cream. Visit o'keeffescompany.com/restaurant daily and use code NRN for 15% off your first order.
Starbucks is paying millions to settle labor scheduling violation allegations. Romano's Macaroni Grill is dwindling, and a big restaurant holding company has a new CEO. Welcome to Restaurant Daily, your quick daily download of the top news in the restaurant industry from the editors of Restaurant Business and Nation's Restaurant News. I'm RB Managing Editor Heather Lally.
And I'm NRN Senior Editor Brett Thorne. Starbucks has agreed to pay $39 million to settle allegations that it violated New York City labor scheduling laws. Most of that, $35.5 million, will be paid to workers of some 300 New York locations. City officials accused the chain of violating the Fair Workweek law, which requires fast food companies to provide set schedules and forbids dramatic reduction in hours without good cause. Starbucks said it settled the case to move forward, but said that the law is complex and that even minor scheduling changes can trigger violations.
Romano's Macaroni Grill is down to just 9 locations. The casual Italian chain has closed 12 restaurants this year and has shrunk by nearly 90% since 2019, when it had 85 stores. The closures continue a long decline for the brand, which peaked in 2006 with 237 restaurants. Sales and unit count have fallen every year since, according to Technomic, but it has a plan to return to growth through franchising and its virtual brand, Twisted Mac.
GoTo Foods has a new CEO. The Atlanta-based company on Tuesdays said Omer Gajial has been named CEO, effective Tuesday. He replaces former CEO Jim Holthauser, who is retiring after 6 years leading the company. Gajial comes from the grocery and retail world. He was previously Chief Merchandising and Digital Officer for the grocery giant Albertsons, and he has served in leadership roles at both Amazon and PepsiCo. GoTo Foods is the parent of franchise brands Cinnabon, Auntie Anne's, Carvel, Jamba, Schlotzsky's, McAllister's Deli, and Moe's Southwest Grill.
K&W Cafeteria has shuttered its remaining locations. The North Carolina-based family dining chain posted the news on its website and social media pages, but did not cite a reason for the abrupt closures. At its peak, the chain operated 35 locations throughout the Southeast, primarily in North and South Carolina. The cafeteria-style chain struggled during the pandemic and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in September 2020. It has experienced significant retrenchment since, finishing 2024 with 10 locations and $27 million in sales.
Activist investor Galloway Capital Partners has bought just over 6% of Noodles & Company's outstanding shares and has urged the company to sell most of its restaurants. A hedge fund's principal, Bruce Galloway, sent a letter to Noodles CEO Joe Christina suggesting he sell around 200 of the chain's roughly 350 company-owned restaurants, which would raise around $90 million that could be used to pay down high-interest debt. Noodles & Company's share price has been hovering around 70 cents for much of the year, well below NASDAQ's required minimum price of $1. Noodles has been actively closing underperforming restaurants and expects to close between 31 and 34 locations by the end of the year. In September, Noodles & Company hired financial services firm Piper Sandler to explore options for maximizing shareholder value, including a sale of the whole company.
Texas Roadhouse has a new chief financial officer, hiring Mike Lenahan to fill the role left when Chris Monroe departed the chain in June. Lenahan most recently served as CFO and chief development officer at Carl's Jr. parent company CKE Restaurants, and also spent nearly 12 years with Yum Brands in various roles, including vice president of financial planning and analysis.
Chicken has dominated the headlines in the past year or so, as it is the only major restaurant category to expand its share of total food spend across income groups this year. That said, Burger King intends on maintaining its focus on burgers, including more innovations with its Whopper by You platform and its signature double cheeseburger. In a recent interview, Chief Marketing Officer Joel Yashinsky said that as more competitors prioritize chicken, it has created white space for Burger King to double down on its core burgers.
The Patina Group served thousands of chef-driven meals at the recent Formula One Grand Prix in Las Vegas. Since race car drivers from around the world compete in the event, culinary director Jacqueline Kelly created a menu representing 10 global cuisines, all prepared from a concession-style location on the track. There was paella, fish and chips, tonkatsu ramen, Mexican flautas, and tiramisu. The event took months of collaboration across culinary, logistics, and vendor teams. The Patina Group is the restaurant and catering division of Delaware North.
And that should do it for today's edition of Restaurant Daily. Get the latest restaurant news every weekday wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Brett Thorne.
And I'm Heather Lally. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Restaurant Daily. Rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and subscribe.
From coast to coast, back-of-house staff turn to the green jar, O'Keeffe's working hands. It's the secret weapon that saves dry hands after constant hand washing. Trusted by pros, America's #1 hand cream. Visit o'keeffescompany.com/restaurantdaily and use code NRN for 15% off your first order.